Well, I'm here with you guys. I'm getting things still a little set up after watching some wrestling. Not that there's anybody in here, so it doesn't matter that much at the moment. We're working on getting this situated. There we go, much better. Welcome into Tiger Talks Wrestling. Here tonight to do a... Now you can see me. Here tonight to do an NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam prediction show. I was pretty pleased with the debut of WWE Thunderdome. Nervous complication leaves WWE matches Sunday. Okay, so it's not a hair versus hair match anymore. That's good. We'll get into that though. Stop that screen for now. As long as you still got me here, and you do, okay. So, I was impressed by SmackDown. It was nice to have fans, and I know they weren't in the arena fully, but it still brought a different dynamic, and I thought it was a pretty good show overall. Improvements I needed a little bit still, but that's to be expected when this was the first episode. I'm just happy they're out of the Performance Center because the Performance Center shows were getting too dull and boring in my opinion. They just needed to get out of the PC. That's my take on it. I don't know what anybody else's take was, but that's mine. I'm just hoping that we can get back to a little bit easier flowing and more exciting shows from this. All right. I watched that, and then I watched 205 Live, which was a pretty good episode. But we're not here necessarily to talk about that. We're here to talk about NXT TakeOver and SummerSlam, which are this weekend. First, we got NXT TakeOver from Winter Park, Florida, Full Sail University. We got 5 matches on the show, and we got a kickoff match. We'll get into those here in just a few moments once I get something uploaded here to show you the pictures for the matches. I was hoping to get somebody to join me on here, but nobody really seemed to want to. Nobody volunteered to or asked if they could. One person that did, he's known for saying, okay, I'll be on, and then doesn't show up afterwards. So when it's time, not going to name any names. That person knows who they are if they watch this later. But if anybody does want to join in, if I get any viewers at any point here, feel free to message me on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, but mainly Twitter. I'd get a notification from either one of the other two as well. I'm trying to see if I can find something that's got a picture for the kickoff show too, but I might just have to go to WWE's page. I was trying to avoid going to WWE's main page. Yeah, I would have been better off just taping this and putting it on my other channel instead of doing this on here, but that's okay. I'll get interrupted here in just a minute. Got a drink on its way coming into me. And I was going to do this earlier today, but I actually got busy and forgot all about it. You can open the door and come in with it. Or not. They're not coming out. Yeah, you can open the door. Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, yeah, you're not the first time I answered. So 6 matches technically overall because we have to kick off match and then 5 matches afterwards on the main show. And again, like I said, I'm just looking to see if I can find something that has the pictures for the matches and make it a little more interesting. Makes the visual better for you in case you don't know who some of the people are. No. Looks like Buff Bagwell apparently was in an accident and in serious condition. That's no good. There's a blast from the past for anybody. Yep, I'm going to have to go to WWE's page to find the pictures. Hopefully I can find a different one. I'll probably just use that for the SummerSlam pictures too. Go to shows. Here in a moment, we'll get into the nitty-gritty for NXT TakeOver. So get it uploaded. If I do a payback prediction show, it will just be posted on my Anchor.fm page because it's only a week later. Oh, come on. Where's the NXT love? Under shows and they don't even show NXT stuff? Well, NXT TakeOver anyway. This SummerSlam. Alright. I like they got Finn Balor front and center on their NXT logo on their main page. NXT TakeOver 30 will be presented by Supercard Season 6. Again, it'll be live from Orlando or Winter Park, Florida. Full Sail University. Hey, welcome in, H2. If you want to jump in here and give your predictions, I'd be willing to give you the link, but interesting take. Dominic will win custody of Buddy Murphy in the custody of Buddy ladder match with Seth. Well, it's not a ladder match, and Buddy Murphy, well, I'm sure he'll be around, but that's going to be fun. Oops. Let's see. Good. Showing all of it to you. So the first match to talk about on NXT TakeOver 30 tomorrow night, we got Breezango versus Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan versus Legado del Fantasma, consisting of Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde, or DJZ, as many of us knew him for the longest time, to determine the number 1 contenders for the NXT Tag Team Titles. I'll be honest, I haven't watched a whole lot of NXT over the last month-ish, I do know Imperium is still the NXT Tag Team Champions. So, with me thinking of that, I was watching 205 Live. I know Drew Gulak picked Legado del Fantasma to win because they are undefeated as a tag team. You might not, Hayden, but it's not that hard to get it linked up on the computer. I'll get the link to you here in a moment. Since when you logged me out, you silly thing. But anyway, back to my point. But I can't see them having a heel tag team versus a heel tag team. I mean, that makes no sense to me. Let's see if that one works. All of a sudden, you don't want to log me in? Okay, so we'll do this a different way. So, my thinking is Breezango just got a tag team title match, I believe, within the last couple weeks. I don't know. They might go heels versus heels, but I kind of think Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch might get the win here. It's a tough one to pick, in my opinion. Once I get things loaded, I'll get that sent to you. It's the Duck app, as Mr. Awesome refers to it as, this StreamYard. The only place you can do live shows on YouTube that's free and easy to do that I found. Since they got rid of live shows on YouTube from Google. That'll log me in. While you're waiting, you want to put in the comment section if you got a prediction for this tag team triple threat match. It's funny that you say Buddy Murphy, because it's, of course, just Murphy again. As they don't like to leave the Buddy there for some reason. I don't know what Vince's issue is with having called Buddy Murphy, but Vince always has an issue. All right. Now I'm getting somewhere with sending you that here in a minute. Oh, yeah. We might talk about that a little, too. I see a picture of a certain somebody that pivotal to your company. I'm almost surprised to see anybody in here, to be honest with you. Doing a late night show. Don't care about it at all, to be honest. Yeah, well, I'll get into the SummerSlam stuff mainly soon, but got to get into the AEW guys, so you don't watch much NXT. Well, I watch AEW live usually, and then watch NXT later. But like I said, last 4 weeks probably. Other than this week, I haven't really been watching much of NXT. I'm just getting burned out on the no crowds, other than the Performance Center implants. All right. Move in to this match that was just made official today. Last night, today, whichever it was. We got Finn Balor versus Timothy Thatcher. So again, since I haven't been watching, I didn't really know what happened, but I have heard Timothy Thatcher was attacked by Finn Balor after the triple threat match they were in. After they lost a triple threat match to see who would go on to the North American Championship ladder match. And then, as Finn Balor was taking on Velveteen Dream last night, Oh, Dexter Lumis was also in that triple threat match and won it, by the way. It was Timothy Thatcher who came out and cost Balor the match, led to Velveteen Dream winning. So that's why this match is happening. And I'm 100% going with Finn Balor, the Prince, to win over Timothy Thatcher and add on to his streak of most wins in a takeover. If you got any predictions at all, just give them to me at any point, Hayden. And if anybody else comes in. So then comes the NXT North American Championship ladder match. Keith Lee relinquished it because he didn't feel like it was fair to be defending both titles all the time and wanted that North American Championship to be defended by somebody else, pretty much. So we get these 5 men in a ladder match instead. You got Bronson Reed, who qualified first, and then Cameron Grimes. Oh, I did say Dexter Lumis won that triple threat match, but he's not even in the picture. I didn't even realize that. So apparently somehow he's out of that match. Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Damian Priest, and then last night Johnny Gargano and Velveteen Dream punched their tickets into the match. So it'll be those 5 guys going at it in a ladder match to crown the new North American champion. This match will probably steal the show, I have a feeling, as ladder matches normally do. As for a pick, this one's tough. Gargano and Dream are both going for their second North American title win, championship reign, whereas the other 3 guys are all going for their first. I personally would like to see Damian Priest walk out with the title. I've seen a lot of love for Bronson Reed on Twitter. A lot of people want to see him win it, but I'm going to go with Priest. That's who I'm picking. Take that win. Hey, hey.
Hey. Can you
Long
hear
time
me?
no see.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Dope.
I'm going to turn this off, though. No fan.
I'm a fan. Woo! This is Tiger Talks Thunderdome.
Sure. I mentioned a little bit about Thunderdome at the beginning of it.
Dude,
Did you watch it?
I watched a little bit, dude. Right at the very beginning, I thought I saw you on there.
Nope, you wouldn't have seen me.
I was like, holy shit, is that Tony?
Nope.
I could only see like here up of the person, and I was like,
Yeah.
I know that head. That head looks like Tony's head.
It wasn't me, though.
Well,
I was sitting in my living room watching with family, so.
damn doppelgangers.
Right?
Yeah, that tag team match. Is that an opportunity for at another time, or is that late that night they get a shot?
You know, that's a good question. They didn't never really explain whether or not it was going to be that night or another night. I have a feeling it's going to be on a different night. Let me read if it says in the...
Yeah. If it is that night, I could see, like, maybe some shenanigans from Imperium or something. Imperium's, they're heel right now, right?
Yeah.
So maybe some shenanigans happen, they beat down everybody, and then you get a fatal 4-way. I think that would be sweet for TakeOver.
That would be pretty sweet.
Because how often do you see fatal 4-way tag matches in NXT?
Not very often at all. I mean, lately, the last year or so, they haven't had enough tag teams to do so, in my opinion.
True.
I mean, if you look back just a couple of years, the tag team division was one of their hottest divisions, but
yeah,
last year or two, it's gone downhill.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't really specify when it's going to be.
Bastards.
Because I know when I was watching NXT, I was paying close attention and was trying to find that out myself. And they didn't really specify on the show either, so
right.
I'm assuming it'll be a later date.
Lame.
Right.
I do want Breezango to win it, though.
Yeah, I kind of don't think they will because they just had their opportunity not that long ago.
Yeah, I think those guys
And that's
deserve
true too. So,
much better than they get.
yeah, they should be treated better.
Absolutely. But yeah, and then you were on to the ladder match, right?
You got anything on the Finn Balor Timothy Thatcher match before I get into that again?
Ooh, man. I learned that after the last takeover, don't bet against Finn Balor. When
Right?
Balor beat Damian Priest, Timmy Thatcher, they're trying to push him right now, but at the same time, Balor's the type of guy where he can go over on you and still put you over because look at Damian Priest.
True.
Like I was for sure Damian Priest was gonna beat Balor at the last takeover, but
Mm-hmm.
when he beat him and still elevated him, I was like, man, I've always thought like Balor's always been one of my favorites, and
Same.
Balor, and I know he's something special, but at the same time, they're spending a lot of time on Tim Thatcher right now. But I'm gonna go with Balor.
Yeah. One of the things from the last takeover really still irks me. I'm sure it does a lot of people. Is the gunpoint from Finn and Damian Priest doing the bow and arrow at the same time, right at the end when they
Yeah.
flipped away from it instead of showing it.
Uh,
Like they just tease a little bit of it. That irks
right.
me. But, that was pretty cool. And even you go back to the takeover before that, the match that Finn Balor had with Johnny.
Yep.
Not that Johnny Gargano needs anybody to help him get over, but they both got over in that match, even though Gargano
Exactly.
left. So
See, man, I want to say if Balor doesn't win this match, I could see him going back to SmackDown after SummerSlam.
ooh, I don't know. Because anything I've been reading, he doesn't really want to go back to Raw or SmackDown. So
No, but right now, I think the reason was because he didn't like the house shows. He didn't want to wrestle
it could
300
be
times a year. And right
right.
now, they're not doing that anyway. So, like
True.
me and Gus Shaughnessy, if you listen to GLWA, Gus Shaughnessy, one of the commentators, we talk a lot about stuff. Like, we've been talking about Lars Sullivan, like, his anxiety issues right now is like the perfect time to break that guy in and get him used to it. Guys like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano who don't want to move to the main roster because of the travel and all that, like
Yeah.
this is the opportunity for them to thrive.
Right.
From my understanding, WWE is already like locked in with this Thunderdome gimmick for
Yeah.
at least 2 months.
Yep. Till the end of October.
So why not just give us a little bit of something? And
Yeah.
I do have a theory on SummerSlam when we get there.
Okay. Well, I do know I've been reading some things. I did see today that Lars Sullivan was posted something on Twitter or somewhere that he is back 100% from what it looks like. And there's a potential that he could be brought back at some point soon, which I'm not
Right.
sure if I like that or not, because I was never a huge fan of Lars Sullivan. Didn't think he was all that great, but
The gimmick is good. The potential's good. It just he's green yet, you know.
yeah, I think that's my main thing is that he needs more improvement wrestling wise. And then
Yep.
I know
I
he's a
agree.
overshadowing figure, so as to speak, but
Right.
he's got room to improve
And he
quite a
does
bit.
not belong on SmackDown. If you are listening to this, Triple H, Vince McMahon, Stephanie, Shane, don't put him on SmackDown. We
No,
already have a giant bastard there, and he's got your belt. You can't decide what you want to do with him.
right? Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more later too. So
Right.
okay, so we'll move into that ladder match. Like I said, all five of these guys, for some reason, I know they had that other triple threat match, and Dexter Loomis won it. So I'm not sure what exactly
Yeah.
happened. He got pulled out
Dexter
of this.
Loomis got injured,
Oh, is that what happened? Okay,
and
I kind of figured he was injured or something.
rather than replacing him with another person, because it was supposed to be a 6-man, I believe, they
Yeah,
just
that's what I thought.
decided to just keep it at 5, from my understanding. Gus is kind of my NXT informant. I'm more of an AEW guy, but I
Gotcha.
still have respect for the NXT roster. And despite me not watching NXT every single week, I usually try to watch it on the weekend, but I still respect everything that these guys do. And it's definitely the best brand.
There's a lot of talent, that's for sure, down in NXT or in NXT, whatever you want to call it. One person that does not belong in this match, in my opinion, he shouldn't even be back right now, is Velveteen Dream because of all the accusations against him.
Yep.
It just, I cannot understand why.
Terrible fucking timing.
I mean, they claim that there was no hard evidence against him that they found, but still, you have even more people that come out now.
Yeah, dude, like, this is a terrible time to bring him back.
I agree.
Absolute. I'm off of Facebook now for the most part. I have it, but I don't use it. I'm more of a Reddit user and the R squared circled subreddit. There's a lot of like talk on there about him and like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This dude was grooming somebody, but I'm not gonna get all politically with it, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. He shouldn't be in it. I wish Balor would have won the match.
Me too.
I would have loved to see Balor here. But
it's been a long time since I've seen Finn in a ladder match, so.
Right. I think hasn't he only been in one ladder match in WWE? Two. Samoa Joe, and then wasn't he in like a triple threat?
I want to say so, yeah.
But
I can't remember if he was ever in one of the Money in the Bank ladder matches or not. Over the couple
may have been. Yeah, I think he was.
He might have been. Yeah, I think. Oh, yes, he was, because one of the spots, can't forget, Andrade hitting that power bomb off the one ladder through the ladder that was set up between the ladder and the ring ropes.
Ah, yep. Okay.
The sunset power bomb. Yeah.
Okay. So who do you got in this one?
I'm going with Damian Priest.
Damian Priest, yeah.
I've seen a lot of people saying they want to see Bronson Reed win it on Twitter. I'm sure there's some people that want to see Grimes win it, but I don't want anything to do with either Gargano or Dream winning it, because Gargano doesn't need it. Nope. And Dream, and just imagine the shit WWE would get for that one.
Yeah. For me, yeah, Damian Priest is definitely. I think Priest needs it right now. I think it's the perfect. Man, if this cricket in my basement doesn't shut the fuck up, I'm going to go right foot hospital, left foot cemetery on
it.
Right? Damian Priest, I think it's the perfect time to pull the trigger for him. After his performance at TakeOver with Finn, now is the perfect time. If Priest doesn't win, I'd definitely say Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, that's probably
that cave-in that he hit with Kushida and Dream, right? No, it was Kushida and who?
Oh, who was that other one?
Was it Balor? It was Balor.
Was it?
I think so.
Grimes. Kushida and Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen, okay. Yeah, that cave-in that he hit, though, like, I was like, it popped me. I was like, okay. I was like, all right. He's got a good gimmick right now, and he gets decent heat for this COVID era where you can't really know if what you're doing is even working. He gets decent heat because I don't like the guy, and that just means he's doing his job.
True. I was going to say, I used to watch a little bit of him as Trevor Lee back in TNA, and this gimmick that he's doing now in NXT is pretty much the same thing he did there. He's kind of always been that arrogant prick type of character that you just want to hate. So, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It just fits him.
Right. I agree.
Somebody that you love to hate.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, I would go with that. Priest, the matches that he had even with Keith Lee over the last few months and with Dominik Dijakovic.
Yeah, that was another guy that kind of surprised me wasn't involved, was Dijakovic.
Yeah, I think he's going to be... I have a feeling he's pretty much done with NXT right now, or probably for good. I think
Yeah,
he's
I thought he was going up to Raw.
Yeah, I think he's going to one or the other after what happened to him a couple weeks ago by Cross. So
Right.
rumor has it he might end up being one of them revealed as part of Retribution too. So we'll see.
Stupid faction.
Yeah, I agree. We'll get into that more later. Case closed?
Case closed. Nothing more to say. Dakota Kai is a heel. Io Shirai has been white hot.
True.
She beat Rhea Ripley, so.
Yes, she did. She has.
Although I don't necessarily agree with her pinning Rhea Ripley in the triple threat.
Me either.
I don't know why you would protect somebody that's literally about to leave, but I digress.
Right? Yeah. But it's Vince. You know he's going to protect Charlotte at any means.
Yep.
So.
I saw a meme on Facebook about it. It was great. It's like, it was Vince. He's like, well, Charlotte, it's good shit tonight that you're walking out with the belt. Triple H. Actually, Vince, we're gonna have Io win. She's gonna pin Charlotte. Pin Charlotte. No, damn it, no. We have to protect Charlotte. Then she's literally about to split in like a month. No, damn it. Have her pin Rhea. She just got back. She doesn't have that much momentum. That's good shit. It's such good shit.
Funny thing is, I could actually hear Vince saying that.
Yep.
Great Vince McMahon impersonation.
I tried, man.
I know Kyle Gonzalez returned on NXT last night, but yeah, I totally agree. Io Shirai's retaining the NXT Women's title over Dakota Kai. At some point, I would love to see Dakota Kai as NXT Women's Champion, but not right now.
I'd like to see Tegan Knox with it as well at some point.
Yeah, those two both should be the NXT Women's Champion at some point before they go to Raw or SmackDown. And I think we probably both, well, I almost skipped a match, but this match. Of course. You got Adam Cole, baby, versus Pat McAfee, a football player.
So
I seen the punt.
Yeah, I saw the punt. Very intrigued by it, am I, though? Like, Pat McAfee, he's been with WWE for quite a while, but I don't know if he's ever actually trained, like, with the boys. I know he is very passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
He's been signed to, I don't know if he was signed with WWE or if he was signed by Alpha Entertainment, which is Vince's, like, entertainment company that he did the XFL through. But Pat McAfee, he is an athlete, so I am very intrigued by it to see, like, how he does.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what he can do in the ring. I know there's been video packages of him training in the Performance Center or wherever he was training at. But you hear superstars say it all the time, hear other people say it all the time. There's a difference between training and being in an actual match. So
very different.
That's got to be one thing that'll come into play here, I would imagine. His athleticism will help him in Pat McAfee. But when it's all said and done, there's really only one way you can end this match, isn't there?
Boom.
Right. Adam Cole has to go over in this match.
Honestly, this is the only match on the entire card that actually, like, I'm like, all right, I might turn off AEW for this.
Well, by the time they get to this match, AEW might be done for the night. Who knows? But
this should be. I believe they. I'm pretty sure they're on at 6, unless the basketball game goes into like overtime.
Yeah,
but if WWE's smart, no matter what time AEW starts, they start with a ladder match.
Right. That would be, yeah. Because right now, halfway through Dynamite is when TakeOver is supposed to start.
Yeah,
If things
TakeOver
go.
starts at 7, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so.
You show at 6:30.
Yep.
So by the time, if they leave this match towards the end of the show as the co-main, which you would think it would be pretty much,
Yeah.
it should be definitely more like 8:30-ish, I would think. 8:30, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Don't be surprised though if this match main events.
It's a possibility.
I could definitely see it just because Pat McAfee has the, like, I don't want to necessarily say he's a household name, but he's known. He is a draw, and Adam Cole is Adam fucking Cole, so.
True. I was going to say, they might want to end it on that note instead of how the main event, or what we figure will be the main event, is going to end. But
yep. In this COVID era, they tend to try and send the fans home happy 9 times out of 10.
Right. So. I have noticed that. Especially pay-per-view wise, anyways. But yeah, Undisputed Era, I think, is going to probably be out there, whether or not they get too involved. But I'm sure Pat will have his football buddies that were on NXT with him as well. So.
Right.
I can see a melee between those 6 guys on the floor. But still, somehow, I don't see Pat McAfee winning by any way, shape, or form. So.
No, unless they want to make it a long-term thing. If they're going to make it a long-term thing, then Pat McAfee does have to win.
Right.
But if it's a one and done, and they don't have Cole win, well, somebody else is involved in the booking.
Yeah, right.
It's good shit. It's such good shit.
Yes, I did see they lost their top writer in NXT over the last few days.
Yeah. I guess Triple H was asked about that, and he said himself, Shawn, and Road Dogg would be pretty much in charge of the creative for NXT moving forward completely.
That's not too surprising.
Yeah.
So then the only match left to talk about for TakeOver, I think is probably maybe even the most predictable match on this card, in my opinion.
Yep.
Too soon.
Sorry, Keith.
Yeah, too soon also, in my opinion, for this match to happen.
Yeah.
The only reason I can see that it's happening this soon is Vince had to have said to Triple H, okay, you've had him long enough. I want the big man on Raw, or I want the big man on SmackDown.
Right.
That's the only thing I can figure.
Yeah. I hate... I don't know, man. I like NXT, but I hate that when they build somebody like they've build Karrion Kross, going into a championship match so soon. Because I don't know. I don't like when somebody's booked the way Karrion Kross is booked going into the main event picture. Karrion Kross, I believe his longest match has been with Tommaso Ciampa, and it was like Tommaso lasted, 6 minutes?
Somewhere's around there. I know it wasn't all that long of a match still. So.
Right. So we know Karrion Kross can go because of his time and impact, but I hate an undefeated person with the heavyweight title.
Right? Because then, again, like we said, you got to figure he's going to be the one to go over because they're pushing Karrion Kross as the next big thing. Not Brock Lesnar here, but, they're giving him kind of, in a little bit of a way, the Undertaker type of treatment. They're giving him the different music and the videos that you see that Undertaker would get back in the day. They're kind of trying to give him the Undertaker vibe, I guess you could say, in a way.
Yeah.
So
I wonder how Seth feels about it, because Seth Rollins said point blank that the Undertaker's gimmick doesn't work in today's age. So I wonder how he feels.
Good question. Because I think, Karrion Kross kind of can make it, seems to be able to make it work. Social media-wise, he's different than just his character at times, but
right.
When it comes to NXT, he seems to take it quite well.
Right.
if Keith Lee wins somehow here, and I don't know how they can have that happen, but if he does, who would be next in line for a title shot after Karrion Kross?
Yeah. No idea.
But then the question becomes, if Karrion Kross wins the title, who's next in line to try and take the title from the undefeated guy as well? Because, like I said,
Balor beats Thatcher, that gives him momentum, and that's a very good get over name for Karrion as well.
right.
So I feel like there's more babies that you could feed to Karrion Kross than there is heels that you can feed to Keith Lee.
Right. I mean, it makes you kind of wonder. I know they're kind of trying to do a little bit of a face turn for Undisputed Era from what it seems like and what I've been reading.
Yeah.
Could it possibly lead to an Undisputed Era member eventually taking that title, like an Adam Cole, or maybe even giving the title to Roddy or Kyle, perhaps down the line somewhere as well?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anybody other than Adam Cole being the NXT champion.
Right.
You going up, bud?
If they stick around NXT for the long term, anyways, like it seems like they're going to, Phil.
Right. I can go sit on the couch now. The dog's up. Oh, fuck it. I don't have to sit on the stairs.
Yeah. It could be a fun takeover, as most takeovers are anyway.
Right.
Actually, was having Jackson Hendricks was sending me a message on Snapchat, asking me what I thought about the fact that they're having it in Full Sail still and not moving NXT.
I like it. Yeah. NXT has always been that different thing.
Right.
And why change now? You know, like it needs to feel different. That's what makes NXT special, you know?
Right. I agree. I'm fine with it. I think that Defiant's still in Orlando and staying in Full Sail. I mean, because of course WWE is still in Orlando, but
Right.
But they do need to change up the set somehow or do something different, make it a little bit bigger in some way, shape, or form, in my opinion. But that was the main reason for me that I kind of stopped watching NXT on a weekly basis, was I was getting a little burnt out on all these no crowd shows, and you're not getting all the.
It's difficult. It's definitely something that you have to get used to.
Right.
I mean, we did it in GLWA, and it was very strange. We did it for EHF, another one of the companies I work for, and it's just weird to not get anything.
Right. I can imagine.
That's what you feed off of. That's how you know what you're doing works.
Right.
And you don't know if what you're doing works until after it's already done, you know?
Mm-hmm. I know with the Thunderdome tonight that they debuted, it just felt so much different having the pyro, and you didn't really have a whole lot of a crowd reaction. It seemed like it was more piped in reaction.
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely a piped in thing. But at the same time, like, the visual appeal of it was fantastic. It was a breath of fresh air, in my opinion. We can do without the virtual fans.
It felt like night and day difference.
Huh?
I said it felt like a night and day difference compared to being in the PC. So.
Definitely, yeah. I really did like the setup. The visual appeal of it was cool. But yeah, I can do without the virtual fans. You can give me NXT kids. I don't care.
It's right. I said it'll take a little bit of adjusting. I think they'll have to do a couple things here and there, but for the most part, it's definitely better than what we had.
Right. Yeah.
Now for this, I do know they're still planning on doing a 2-hour pre-show.
Yeah.
I have no idea if they got any matches that they're going to be putting on there, because they haven't specified that and probably won't until Sunday.
Right.
But so you said you caught part of SmackDown. Did you catch the main event or the end of the show, rather?
Yep. I saw. I walked upstairs when right after Strowman like hit Bray in the funhouse, but
Mm-hmm.
my wife told me that he threw Bray off of the loading dock,
Yeah,
and then I saw the Fiend come out of the ambulance.
that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I thought
Choke
it was
slam.
kind of predictable, but I
Yeah,
digress.
I thought so too, but still, they played it pretty well. And having Adam
Yeah,
Pearce's reaction the way he did kind of helped
right.
it too.
Yeah.
So, moving over to SummerSlam, though, this is the first match we're gonna talk about here. Probably the most heated rivalry, I guess you'd say, in a way, for this pay-per-view. It's been
Definitely
going on.
the longest booked. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
But we did get a change on SmackDown tonight for this match. Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose will no longer be a hair versus hair match. It'll now be a no disqualification loser leaves WWE match.
Oh, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah.
It's
Sonya Deville.
loser leaves WWE?
Yes.
Oh, that changes everything. Holy shit.
Yeah, because Mandy came out earlier in the show and said, well, she was backstage, so she wanted to just forget the match, let bygones be bygones, and go back to the way they used to be. Sonya came out towards the end of the show and said, no, we're still having this match. I don't know what your problem is, but I'm still getting a piece of you at SummerSlam. You don't want to do the hair versus hair? Fine. But we're going to do a no disqualification, loser leaves WWE match then.
Oh, shit.
And they officially announced it on Twitter after the show that that's what it's going to be now.
Wow, okay. Well, that changes things for me then. Originally, if it was hair versus hair, I was going to say Mandy wins this one. No,
That's what I was going to say.
it still keeps the same outcome for me, honestly, because with what happened to Sonya this past weekend, I feel like she probably just wants to take some time off. So I'm going to say Mandy wins this one, and Sonya takes a little bit of time off.
I'd agree with you there. In a way, I hate to say that Sonya will win, and I hate to see Sonya lose. I mean, rather hate to see Sonya lose because she's had some great promos, in my opinion, since they broke Fire and Desire off on SmackDown. And she's been, other than Bayley and Sasha Banks, whether you like them or hate them, they have amazing promos and had a lot of limelight over the summer. But other than those two, Sonya Deville has gotten a lot of time on SmackDown and has improved the most, in my opinion, on that women's division.
I agree.
So I would love to see Sonya at some point. I mean, I agree she'll probably go away here, but I'd love to see her at some point in the women's title division. Picture, rather.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later. Because she deserves, with everything that she's gone through over the last couple of years in WWE, she deserves to get a run at that championship, or with the championship.
She was in NXT forever.
Right? And I mean, these two go back, of course, all the way to Tough Enough days. And they both spent plenty of time in NXT before getting the call up as part of what was the name of the group now? Absolution, I believe, with Paige. And they stayed together.
Shit, I forgot all about that.
That's how they first debuted on the main roster.
Damn, I forgot all about that.
Right? Which was short-lived because Paige, not long into it, got injured, and we haven't seen her in action since, but they still stayed together from there. So I said this is going to be the most personal match, in my opinion, between the two. It's been the longest rivalry.
Yep.
The interesting thing will be no disqualification. Who does that favor? I'd say that favors Sonya a little bit more, but
yeah.
Well, Otis in some shape or form, though.
Gimmick matches. All right, so this is the booker in me talking. Gimmick matches usually favor the underdog when it comes to like the long-term story. So like, also, I mean, Sonya humiliated Mandy, potentially tried to ruin her relationship with Otis and everything. bad guy do bad, good to good guy needs to get over now, you know?
Right.
Like, you can't do the bad, or you can't do this horrible, horrible thing and get away with it.
Right. Yeah, because Sonya's been winning their matches leading up to this.
Yep.
Besides getting the better of Mandy backstage and everything too. So.
Yep. She cut her hair, humiliated her. Is Mandy and Otis still a thing?
It is.
This is the first time I've watched SmackDown in like a couple months.
Yeah, they're still a thing. Yeah. When Sonya cut Mandy's hair, Mandy was getting ready to go out on a date with Otis. So.
Okay. Gotcha.
When they're gonna decide to split those two, I don't know, but I think the whole Otis and Mandy thing is kind of corny myself. But
yeah, I would have never given that guy the briefcase, but
yeah, me neither. I still don't agree with it, and I'm not sure how exactly they're gonna have him cash in either. I've heard rumors at one point that he might cash in for a tag team title opportunity instead of the world title, but we'll see.
yeah.
I mean, that would be the smarter thing to do because I
cannot picture that guy with the heavyweight title.
Right.
That would be, man, what a slap to the face of AJ Styles.
Right? I mean, the guy's on the same brand, so yeah, I would agree. Speaking of AJ Styles, of course, he lost the Intercontinental Championship tonight.
Yes, he did.
Kind of bit his own ass in that one, though.
Yep.
What do you think of Joseph Park being on TV with him, though, lately?
I like it, honestly. You can't have not seen Abyss or Joseph Parks in TNA because he was there for so long. If you've ever watched TNA or been a fan of TNA, you know who this man is, you know?
Right.
I did not watch SmackDown last week, but apparently he got himself over enough to have landed a role on TV to where he's seen more than once.
Right. Because he was
Same
seen
with
backstage.
potentially with Pat Buck.
Yeah.
You know who that is, right?
Wow. I haven't seen a whole lot of his matches, but yes, I know he's the one in the storyline with Nia Jax on Raw right now.
Yep. Promoter.
Yep.
But yeah. This match, what do you think, man?
So this match is confirmed to be the one that'll go on first between the two women's title matches. So Bayley defending the Raw Women's title against Asuka, and then afterwards Sasha will defend this. Bayley defending the SmackDown Women's title against Asuka. Then Sasha Banks will defend the Raw Women's title against Asuka. This could go either way. I don't see Asuka walking out with both belts. I'll start with that.
Right.
So I've seen plenty of people saying, I've seen some suggestions, predictions, whatever, saying they think Bayley will retain, Sasha will win, or will lose her title, and then lead to their match eventually at WrestleMania probably next year. I honestly think since Bayley's going first, this is tough because I could see Bayley potentially winning and retaining with help from Sasha here, and then perhaps backfiring in the next match. But I could also see it the other way around as well.
Right.
So this one's tough. Personally, what I'd like to see is Bayley lose here and Sasha retain the Raw Women's title because Sasha's never had a long run with a Women's Championship.
That'd be a good little flip-flop, too, for their role. I think that if I was booking it, that's the way I would book it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Bayley-Sasha story has gone forever. Like,
years.
That's the longest story in WWE at this moment in time. And they're still playing it. I don't know how long they want to prolong it. If they want to wait all the way until WrestleMania. If they want to wait all the way till WrestleMania, this is a perfect way to keep it rolling, but
Right.
I see it going the other way. So Bayley, I think, is going to retain her championship, and Sasha's going to lose hers.
So the way I would like to see it, it's like I said, Bayley lose and Sasha win, and then of course 1 week later we've got the Payback pay-per-view where they're defending the women's tag titles, which I think somehow maybe Bayley accidentally costs them the tag titles or Sasha does, whichever one.
Who
And
are they
then
facing for the tag titles?
they haven't revealed that yet. They just said
They just said that they would.
that the tag titles will be on the line at Payback.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. I hate that they're doing a pay-per-view 1 week after SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's really weird.
But which makes, I know I've seen some things and makes me kind of think something screwy is going to happen in some match at least. But
Right.
rumor has it there could be like a Tuesday in Texas type thing happen from back in '92, I think it was. But
just give me Taboo Tuesday.
All right. We'll see. But I'd love to see long-term, Bayley get jealous because Sasha retains is how I'd book it. And eventually they lose the tag titles probably in the next pay-per-view. And eventually Bayley would just have enough of seeing Sasha get in the limelight and being the champion. She'd turn on Sasha and still be the heel in the whole thing. Because I don't want to see... I'm enjoying this run as Bayley as a heel, honestly.
Bayley has surprised me. Like, I was sitting next to Alyssa while we were watching SmackDown, and I said it just surprises the hell out of me at how good of a heel she is.
Yeah.
Because she was so lovable as a baby,
Right. And a lot of times you don't see somebody thrive on both ends of the spectrum, but
Boom. Yep.
In my opinion, Bayley has. So
yeah, I think Bayley might be a better heel than she was a baby.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you right now. Which is surprising. I would use that she was a baby.
She is a bitch. And they have done a great job of taking, like, the things away that you loved about Bayley. The happy theme song, the wacky, wavy, inflatable arm flailing tube men. She got a Karen haircut. She is committed AF to this role.
Right.
However, I do think Sasha is a better heel than a baby, but I think Bayley is crushing this heel gimmick that she's doing right now.
So my honest opinion towards Sasha part of it is her best heel gimmick was back and down when she was heel in NXT. When she was playing off the full boss before she lost the title to Bayley.
Right. The Sasha's Wretched chants.
Yes.
I was like, holy shit. Gus Shaughnessy used to think that they were saying Sasha's pregnant. Do you remember when they did NXT at the Arnold Classic?
Oh, yeah.
He was there at that Arnold Classic, and they were chanting Sasha's Wretched, and he was screaming, Sasha's pregnant!
Alrighty. Yeah, a little confused, did he?
Oh, just a bit. So this is the one I think Asuka's walking out with the title.
I mean, they could potentially give her both titles, but I don't see how you give Asuka both titles here.
Yeah, I don't see what you do long term with her having both titles.
Right.
Because Becky Lynch, the most over female wrestler of all time, didn't even last with both titles.
No, they had her drop one, a month later?
Yeah.
So, and we have 2 belts Bayley, and we have 2 belts Banks, and we don't really need to see somebody else winning 2 titles, in my opinion.
Especially there's too many ladies at home for the titles to be tied up on 2 women.
Oh yeah. SmackDown and Raw's rosters are both stacked, and those women deserve to have more than one person, or one person only, I should say, to have to worry about and fight after instead of the same person on both brands.
Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, I think she's probably going to be right up there in that Raw Women's title picture.
Hopefully.
Oh man, I can't believe they didn't change that.
I was literally just gonna say, did they not switch the
They
damn
didn't.
Apollo?
This is
You're
on
slacking
WWE's
on your
page, too.
promo picks.
Yes, they are slacking. So, MVP versus Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title. Not that U.S. title, but the new U.S. title that MVP supposedly paid for.
Right.
Because of his win on Raw Monday, Apollo Crews doesn't have to worry about Bobby Lashley or Shelton Benjamin being out there. MVP will be out there alone. Crews is winning. I mean, they're not going to have MVP win when the other guys are banned from ringside. And I think the person that's going to take that U.S. title off of Crews will probably be Bobby Lashley, maybe even a month later or a week later.
Yeah. I want to agree with you. I think MVP has done a very, very, very good job in this COVID era. I don't know how dead set they were on actually signing him after the Royal Rumble. I think they were just gonna have him in a
Backstage
managerial lead or position.
Yeah.
But he was available, so they've used him, and I think they've used him really well. MVP, I think might be one of the best heels right now, in WWE. He's very smart, works. He's so I don't do this when I wrestle because I'm a stupid indie idiot and am a mark for cool flippy shit. But
of course.
There's an expression, less is more. And
Right.
I'm a mark for less is more. I really do like that. And MVP really is a less is more. Kind of like how Bailey took away all the cool shit. MVP, I feel like he gets it now better than he did his first run in WWE. He took away all the cool shit that you liked about him. The really fucking sweet tunnel for his thing.
Right.
The ballin' and all the cool, flashy shit about his gimmick, he's taken away. He's just your most valuable player. But being the most valuable player, you're going to put some guy over, Apollo has waited for a long time for, this position.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's time. This is going to be the guy that puts Apollo over, gets Apollo to that next level.
I'd agree. Again, like I said, after Crews wins here, I still think Lashley is going to be the one to take that U.S. title from him. So.
Yeah, I mean, Lashley's due his comeuppance,
Yeah.
He's been back for two years now.
2 or is it 3?
2. I think it's 2. I think he came back after last year's Mania. I could be wrong, though.
Something like that. He's been back a while now.
He's due one,
Yeah,
Although he is the most confused man in professional wrestling. With he just looks very confused a lot.
Or something.
I saw one of the strangest looking Tower of Dooms I've ever seen. And Bobby Lashley was a part of it. Instead of powerbombing the dude, he did a side suplex and he stayed on the ropes. It's like, what are you doing?
Right?
But yeah. So most confused man in pro wrestling, Bobby Lashley, next US champ, MVP. Look at the lights and put Apollo over.
Yep. Toss powerbomb 1, 2, 3. More likely we have that on the line. All right. I will say I do like the Hurt Business though. They've done some pretty good stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of how Shelton Benjamin's kind of been treated in there, but Lashley and MVP have been treated pretty well in that group for the most part.
Right. Yeah. I thought for a split second that this Raw Underground thing was created just to put the Hurt Business over, just to get them over.
So did I, especially at the end of the first episode when the Hurt Business took over the show.
Yeah,
of course,
I'm very confused on what the purpose of Raw Underground is.
I am too. admit I'm kind of liking some of the things I'm seeing on it, though. I like the spotlight Shayna's kind of got the last 2 weeks on there.
Right. It's
and that they brought in
people like Shayna.
Yeah.
But I think it's bad to a degree for some people. So like Eric's the skinnier Viking Raider, right?
Yeah. I think so.
He on week 1 knocked that dude out with the knee that he does every single week.
Right.
Why doesn't that knee put anybody else away?
Right.
So
that was one thing I didn't agree with. So
yeah, it's good for people like Shayna, Bobby, Shelton, people who have that actual like amateur background, even Dolph. Even though I think Dolph should be doing something more important.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But at the same time, I think it's kind of bad for the business too, for certain people. Like, why isn't Eric knocking people out with that knee then?
Right. I mean, they always, when he hits that knee in those tag matches, mention how devastating it is, but again,
right. But it's not a finish, you know?
Right.
Now he can't go for a pin after hitting that knee ever.
Nah. Never usually does. Something happens.
Yeah, but
still.
Yeah. You get where I'm going.
Yep, I understand what you mean. I agree with you. It's good for some, and they gotta be careful about how they book these guys to get over at Raw Underground compared to how they're being booked otherwise. And
Man, I will not lie. When I first saw that, I was like, Brawl for All 2, fuck yeah.
Right? And a lot of people thought that too.
Yeah. I was excited. I was like, fuck yes, let's do this.
Yeah, I think it'll help some people get over a little bit more with the crowd. Like I said, having Shayna in there doing things that Shayna should be doing, and then bringing in the other 2 members of the 4 Horsewomen. I mean, we didn't see Jessamine yet doing a fight, but seeing Marina, I thought that was badass the way Marina Shafir took care of the opponent the way she did this past Monday. So,
yep,
nice spotlight on Raw.
Right.
But that's enough on that one. Let's move into this one, shall we?
Yes, let's.
So this feud has been on for a couple months as well now.
Yeah. I want to know what you think.
Yeah, know what I think about this match?
Yeah.
It's Dominic Mysterio with Rey Mysterio in his corner. A one-eyed Rey Mysterio. One-eyed. Against Seth Rollins with Buddy Murphy, or Murphy, as they call him, in his corner. And it's no DQ, or is it a street fight? Street fight, I think?
I think it's a street fight.
Yep, it's a street fight. So, Dominic paid his dues, in my opinion. Not this past week, but the Monday before, with all those kendo stick lashes from the 2 guys.
Yes, sir.
He's paid his dues like you guys made somebody pay his dues in a battle royal not that long.
Good old Moose Knuckle McGraw got taken to the chop shop.
But of course, Seth Rollins took a little bit of a receipt afterwards this past Monday. Nowhere near as many shots, but what was it? 30 shots, I think. Kendo stick shots, they said.
Yeah, he took like over 30.
Yeah.
And look, let me tell you, man, like, Moose Knuckle McGraw, for anybody watching this, what Tony was referring to earlier, GLWA Breakthrough 2020 in January, in our Ultimate Survivors Rumble, a kid named Moose Knuckle McGraw debuted. And when you break into professional wrestling, your first match, 99.99% of the time, is a battle royal of some sort. And you get initiated. And being initiated, you pretty much get taken to the chop shop. And it's kind of like how your first day in the military, they're really hard on you. They're weeding out the weak. They're seeing if you'll fuck off and leave. They're testing your strength. And Dominic didn't debut in a Battle Royal or a Royal Rumble.
Nope.
I think that was just to show how tough this kid is. This kid isn't here because of his last name and his dad. I think this is to show I'm Dominic fucking Mysterio or Prince Mysterio, whatever he's going to go by after this. And show I'm here to stay and I'm going to make this company money.
Right. And I'll give the kid props. I mean, he's taken so much punishment from Brock Lesnar even going back a year ago.
Yep.
And I mean,
sold his ass off for Brock.
Yeah, right. The suplexes that he took from Brock, the amount of flying miles he took from Brock, the throws, it was impressive back then, a year ago. And then to take those 30 lashes from the two candlesticks from the two guys.
Didn't he help Samoa Joe once as well?
Speaking of, that brings up a good point. Samoa Joe has been very involved in this feud as of the last 3-4 weeks. Right. So my thinking here is, of course, Seth Rollins has Murphy in his corner, Dom has Ray in his. They're both going to get involved. It's a street fight. There's no way they're not going to get involved.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking that perhaps Samoa Joe is going to be cleared or is about to be cleared and might get involved in some way, shape, or form in this match as well. I mean,
very good
it would make sense. So, but either way, I think it's tough to pick which one you think will win here. Do you really give Dominic a win in his first match over Seth Rollins? I see you shaking your head, yes.
Yes, so it kind of goes back to what I said earlier about Mandy and Sonya. Bad guy, super wrong's good guy. It doesn't get any more clear cut than you fucking took my dad's eye out of his fucking face.
Right.
Dominic isn't fighting for himself. He's not fighting for, this is my debut. He's fighting for his family. Right. Seth has done the Mysterio family so wrong.
True.
You can't not put Dominic over. Like, I was thinking maybe a roll-up. I didn't even think about Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is a game changer for this. They obviously have a lot of faith in Dominic to have Dominic, his first match be with
Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Seth Rollins is a great person to take care of Dominic. Right. A street fight is a easy first match. You don't have to have the psychology, but they have a lot of faith in Dominic to 1, skip developmental, 2, work with Seth Rollins, 3, sell for Brock Lesnar.
Right.
They have a lot of faith in Dominic right now. And so the way I look at the booking is they have done the Mysterio family so wrong. Taking Ray's eye, fucking taking Dominic to the fucking woodshed.
Right.
The Mysterio family has to get one on Seth, and what better way than to have somebody who's never wrestled before be your, top guy.
Right.
That would be humiliating for Rollins, and humility for a heel is...
Right? I mean, just think of what would happen, the next night on Raw. I mean, the Monday Night Messiah, we've seen what he was like after losing to Drew McIntyre a couple months ago when this feud all started.
Yep.
What would losing to a rookie do to the Monday Night Messiah?
Right. Whatever it is, it's great for fucking business.
Right?
So
I was going to say, I am picking Dominic here because I agree with you. The Mysterios need to get a win in this feud because Seth is beating Ray every step of the way. So.
Yep. So usually, it's whoever looks strongest in the build is who loses.
Right.
Seth has looked dominant. And the fact that the Mysterios didn't quite get the receipt to Seth this week,
Mm-hmm.
they get, man, if they don't, they swerve the shit out of me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Seth doesn't need any more bragging rights over the Mysterio name, so it doesn't do him any good to win here, in my opinion. So.
They took my man's eye, dude.
I know.
What else does he have to brag about?
Nothing.
Exactly.
I mean, along with Murphy, they took out Aleister Black for who knows how long as well. So.
Right. So, so Seth, or Dominic is going to win the custody of Buddy Murphy.
Sure, of Buddy. Let's put it that way. Huh?
Yeah.
So this one's interesting. The Raw Tag Team titles on the line. You got Angel Garza and Andrade with Zelina Vega versus the Street Profits, who I'm sure Bianca Belair is going to be in the corner, even though she's not in that picture. I'm sure many people figured, Zelina Vega was revealed as the person that spiked Montez's drink a few weeks back, and things didn't go well.
Poisoned.
Right, poisoned.
Not drugged, poisoned.
Yes. The Street Profits have been a red-hot team since they came to Raw, in my opinion. They have been booked very well compared to most tag teams on either Raw or SmackDown. But with all that said and all the momentum, they've been winning matches. They won this past week on Raw. Montez did. I'm not fully 100% sold on them retaining the tag titles here, though.
No. So, in my opinion, in this COVID era, Zelina has been the MVP. Even if she hasn't been wrestling, Zelina Vega has been one of the reasons I still change the TV to channel 105 at 8 p.m. every Monday. Right. Zelina has... So, like, this COVID era has, like, some people have really, really thrived in this COVID era, and Zelina is an MVP, in my opinion. Also, Angel Garza, I'm pretty high on him right now. I'm not super high on Andrade.
Yeah, there was a time I was a fan of Andrade and thought he was going to be one of the next big Latin superstars in WWE, but with the issues he's had, getting that suspension several months ago now, but just Angel Garza seems to be played off more as a bigger star than what Andrade has as of late, in my opinion.
He's much more charismatic.
Yes, I would agree with that.
He's easier to give a shit about as well.
Yeah. Angel Garza, we brought it up before, as somebody that would watch back in Impact Wrestling, or TNA, it was called back in the day, but I would see him a little bit back in there. I know he had a stint in there before he came to WWE. Again, another guy whose role is pretty much the same from the two companies. He's always played this like Lothario guy. He didn't go around always handing out roses in TNA, but was kind of the same jerky type gimmick back then. And he thrives in it. Just like I was mentioning, Cameron Grimes does thrive in that same exact type of a gimmick that he had in TNA that he has now in NXT.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right. That's very true. The thing for Andrade, though, is he is engaged to Charlotte Flair. Vince McMahon, as we know, Charlotte Flair is his golden egg. So Andrade, I could see at some point probably getting pushed more so from Vince.
Right. I don't know, though. Vince, from my understanding, is pretty high on Angel Garza. He says that he makes him think of a young Eddie Guerrero. And I could see that with his gimmick, when Eddie had the Latino Heat thing going on with China. Like, Street Profits are great. They're over as shit.
Right.
But they've held the titles for quite a while. I think it's time to give it over to Zelina's boys. Let Andrade work whatever it is he needs to work to get himself over, and it's not even like I said about Cameron Grimes earlier, or well, maybe it wasn't Cameron Grimes, but I said I hated him. So he's
Yeah.
doing his job well. I don't hate Andrade. I just don't give a fuck about him.
Right.
Like, give me a reason to give a shit. That's why so many people fall off the wagon or the radar. Like, it's not because they're heat. It's they just haven't done anything to make me care.
Right. I would say for Andrade, that goes back to his U.S. title reign, which he was a U.S. champion when he got suspended for that 30 days, and that didn't help any. But
right.
ever
Honestly,
since
it goes all the way back to NXT for me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the only time I really cared that much about Andrade was when Zelina and him first hooked up and he went after the NXT title. So,
see, I didn't really care about him then either. I cared more about Zelina, so I was like, okay, this is good for her. But it's time for Andrade to find a way to get himself over. He needs to get himself in that groove. Angel Garza, it's time for him to grab some gold. And it's time for me to get more Zelina Vega on my TV screen.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely got Angel Garza and Andrade winning here. I know they've had friction. They've had their issues on Raws, but I can't see the Street Profits keeping the tag titles past this. Who else would be in line for a tag title shot in the Raw division anyways if they did keep them? So
right, and
we've got what?
There's more baby teams, I feel like, than there is heel teams. So Profits have ran through everybody, including the Viking Raiders.
Right.
So I feel like this is the booking decision that makes the most sense.
I'd agree. Well, that's interesting that match is next. I'm going to actually skip that match. We'll get back to that one. So I want to talk about that one last. So, the new and improved Braun Strowman, or Big Show, as people call him, because that's what he looks like here. Defending bald head and the facial hair all looks the same. So, yeah. Defending the Universal title against The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I can only see this match going one way and one way only, with The Fiend walking out as new Universal Champion.
So, I see a different outcome.
Okay.
I don't know how. I think The Fiend will get disqualified and obliterate Strowman after, or something, like assault him, take him out, and this is when fucking Otis cashes in.
That could be.
Just so The Fiend can destroy him later. I feel like Alexa Bliss is going to play a role in this match.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss is going to be involved.
So, this is something I've noticed, and I'm sure other people have noticed it. I'm sure this isn't news for anybody. You know, The Fiend has his two gloves, the hurt heel.
Hurt heel, yep.
Have you noticed anybody that he uses the hurt glove on turns heel?
Sure.
Seth Rollins, Finn Balor.
One exception, though.
Who's your exception?
Daniel Bryan.
He got the heel glove. He went back to yes.
What? Okay. I have to go back and look at that then.
That's what I've noticed. So I don't know if he got the heel glove every time. But yes, Daniel Bryan is the exception. But Daniel Bryan went the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa Bliss got the hurt glove.
Sure.
Now, I believe when he went to give her the claw last week or the week before, for the second week straight or whatever, it was gonna be the heel glove, and Alexa stopped him.
Right.
I think there's some mass storytelling and psychology going on here. If Otis doesn't cash in, I think Alexa screws Strowman over.
Okay, since we know that they're having another pay-per-view a week later, that kind of would make sense. So, I mean, just think of it this way. Something could happen in this match, whether it be a DQ finish or just something happens between the two of them. If they both are down at the same time, Otis comes out, cashes in, wins the title, and then the next week loses the title to Bray or Braun at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I can see that. Because
Fiend is one of those.
Title,
what's that?
I was gonna say, because if they do give Otis the title, I can't really see him holding it for.
He needs to drop it like that.
Yeah. So that would make sense.
Yeah. Otis with the belt only works in this COVID era, but it doesn't even work good.
Right.
Yeah, dude, like there is some serious storytelling going on with the Fiend. I love everything about the Fiend.
Yeah, I've enjoyed everything Fiend wise, other than, of course, going back to last year's Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, I would have booked that the opposite.
In the Goldberg scenario that
yeah,
nobody needs to talk about.
But that led to John Cena in NWO gear with the spray painted title.
True.
Everything the Fiend does is crazy storytelling. Like, if you really want to sit there and dissect that video with John Cena, there is some deep shit in there.
It's true. I was going to say, you talk about deep storytelling for the Fiend. Fiend loses the Universal title to Goldberg, goes on to have the match with Cena at WrestleMania. Goldberg goes on to lose the Universal title to Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. And here we are 4 months later.
Full circle.
Yep.
Where it all started for the Fiend.
True. And that'll be interesting.
Is Bray Wyatt undefeated at SummerSlam?
Oh, that's a good question. I have no idea. I can find out.
I'll have to look into that later.
I think, did he have a match last year at SummerSlam?
Yeah, that's where he had his first match as the Fiend.
Yeah, that's
he beat Finn Balor
last year.
And his debut on the main roster was at SummerSlam in a. I don't think it was an Inferno match, but it was an Inferno match. Like they had a different Ring of Fire or something with Kane.
Yeah.
I believe he's undefeated at SummerSlam.
Yeah. It takes some deep diving to figure out for sure, but
right.
It'd be interesting. So that leaves us with one other match that's been confirmed so far. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ and Jeff might get added in at some point. We'll see, but with a rematch. This match is probably the most intriguing match on the card to me. The best built, well, one of the better built matches, feuds leading in. I want to get your take on the Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton match before I get too far into my opinions on it.
So, I hate Randy Orton with a burning passion. And it's not because he does his job well. I just fucking hate Randy Orton. But I really do enjoy this gimmick that he currently has. I like this. I've always, because this isn't the first time he's done this stick. Every time he does this version of Randy Orton, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, they have said they wish they would have crowned McIntyre at a stage where the crowd can cheer for him. This would be huge for McIntyre. This would be that one that really solidifies him. He beat Seth Rollins, and then to beat Randy Orton, that would solidify him as a dominant WWE champion.
Right.
But Randy Orton with this belt, and with him kicking all these legends in the head, is nuclear.
True.
Man, it's really tough. Like, I feel like
It
there's some very, I don't know. I feel like there's some stuff that's going to happen that's going to lead to other things.
So before we get into a full prediction, though, I want to bring up what happened on Raw Monday night.
Okay.
So we seen the RKO and then the rapid fire punt afterwards to Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
What was your take? And Bully Ray, even Bully Ray, whatever you want to
Yep.
call him, mentioned this on Twitter. What was your take of how Shawn Michaels, out of all these legends that gets punted, they're all down, they're out, they're taken
Yep.
out of the ring, and Shawn Michaels gets up to his feet, well, his knees, and with help from the ropes, but eventually to his feet within a couple minutes afterwards.
Right. So, it's funny you bring up Bully Ray because I listen to the Busted Open podcast like almost every single day. Bully Ray, his psychology is the closest I feel like that I've heard to like the way I think when it comes to pro wrestling. I'm not comparing myself to Bully, but like the things he says makes the most sense to me. Bully couldn't come up with a reason. The only thing I can think of is one thing Bully said was there's no deeper storytelling. It's Randy Orton talks so much shit on Twitter about the NXT guys, and he's so vocal about it. This was Shawn's way of kind of sticking it to Randy. I don't think that's the case.
Right.
There's something deeper in this because Shawn did say, he's like, you're not going to win, whether it be a Claymore or a super kick. Why would he even bring his finish up?
True.
So I think there's something deeper going on, something more. Another part of me thinks maybe they're trying to water down the punt a little bit to make it believable that McIntyre could kick out.
Which I could see him doing because he's kicked out of everything, including, what, 2 F5s, I think, at WrestleMania?
Every finisher that McIntyre's been hit with, he's kicked out. He's been booked very strong as the heavyweight champion. I don't think he's lost. I don't think he's lost a single match in 2020.
Yeah, I was gonna say
at least since Royal Rumble.
Right. No, I think even going back to the very beginning of 2020, I don't think he's lost a tag team match or a singles match.
All right. So he's been booked quite strongly. I think this is the one that really solidifies McIntyre. I do think there's going to be some shenanigans.
Right.
I think there's going to be a story that kicks off through this. One prediction I've had is, and I don't know if you even call it a prediction, it's more of a theory that I've had, is Randy Orton will hit McIntyre with the RKO, and I'll start lining him up for the punt. Shawn Michaels will come in, go for the super kick, eat an RKO. McIntyre will line back up for the punt. The audio, or you're going to hear over like the thing, no one will survive. Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
Tommaso Ciampa and Randy Orton have been going at it. And
right.
This doesn't necessarily have to mean that Tommaso's coming to the main roster. But Tommaso Ciampa versus Randy Orton has money written all over it.
Oh, I agree.
That would be, and if you keep them apart, makes the story even better. You can drag it out. You can do the 5-on-5-on-5 at Survivor Series again and have them, what's up, motherfucker, you know?
Right.
Put NXT in the Rumble and get this at Mania because, like, this is a match that has money written all over it. Randy has been very vocal about about NXT. He's been very vocal about Tommaso Ciampa and Tommaso Ciampa's work ethic. He hasn't questioned his work ethic, but he said Tommaso's going to burn himself out. He doesn't like that Tommaso does the draping DDT.
Right. I like him.
So I think, and with Tommaso getting murdered by Karrion Kross and taking some time off, I think now's a perfect time.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't think
Tommaso doesn't even have to touch Orton. Like, Orton can just be like distracted long enough for McIntyre to get up, because if he eats the cutter, Orton lines up for the punt, RKO's Michaels, lines up for the punt again, and gives Tommaso all that time to come to the ring. He's not, McIntyre's not burying the RKO.
Right.
And then the punt stays protected despite Shawn kind of burying it.
Right. That's my thing. I couldn't understand why Shawn would get up that quick when everybody else was so. Right. You're supposed to believe everybody else was knocked out. So.
Right. Another thing I kind of thought of was the reason he got up so quick was maybe they were crunched for time, and McIntyre needed to come out.
Yeah.
And Michaels needed to be recovered enough to check on McIntyre, so he sold it a little quicker than he should have.
That could be.
This is the same guy that got punched in the face by Hulk Hogan and threw himself out of the ring.
Right.
Michaels is definitely probably the top 3 best sellers in the profession.
Right.
There's something deeper going on.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So, you pretty much put it all to bed on that one, but.
Sorry, man.
No, you're good.
I jacked your shit.
No, you're fine. So my thinking is, I agree with you. It's tough to pick on this one. Man, I'd love to see Randy Orton as a WWE champion at some point again soon, but not right now. I just feel like Drew needs to have a longer reign than just 4 months.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him have a very lengthy reign, personally. I know there's been talk of Randy taking it from him and then holding it until like about WrestleMania next year when he's supposed to face Edge again. But I'd rather see. I'd be fine with your whole scenario. I can just visualize this in my head to see Randy going for the punt and Drew getting up and hitting a Claymore out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
That would be perfect way for Drew to win the match, in my opinion.
Nips up and hits the Claymore.
Yeah. That would be perfect for me anyway.
Right. I like that finish as well.
That's what I would love to see, and I could see shenanigans happening. It's either going to be the Universal title or this match, I think, that'll have a screwy finish to it that will make it so that they explain is why they have the pay-per-view the next week rather. But I'm still going to go with Drew retaining the title here. Randy will get his next title reign at some point, but it doesn't have to be right now, in my opinion. He has been great.
Go ahead.
He has been great in this PC era, so as to speak, but he doesn't need the title.
Right. Right now in I refer to it as the COVID era.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry if that fucks up your YouTube video. I know they're kind of weird. But in this era, they really like to try and send the crowd home happy at pay-per-views. That's why I think this match will go on last, and I think McIntyre will walk out with the title.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can see Shawn getting involved in some way, shape, or form, if nobody else.
And
so, did you see the
cinematic bullshit?
No, I don't think there will be because of them being in the Amway Center.
Thank God. We don't need it anymore. Less is more, people. Less is
Right.
more.
Right. Because their best one was the first one. And
The
they all
Boneyard,
kind of
yeah,
downhill
absolutely.
The
Boneyard
fun
was great.
Right.
I did not enjoy the greatest wrestling match ever. It was a good match, but overhyped.
Right. Wasn't as good as the hype was built for it, but still. Kudos to Edge and Randy for putting on what they did for that match.
Calling it the best match in the entire world.
Yeah.
That's a shit ton of hype and a lot to live up to.
I loved a lot of that match, but still wasn't.
I'm gonna fucking kill you, motherfucker. That was fucking awesome.
And using Howard Finkel's voiceover at the beginning of it, I love that.
Right.
You had to have that voice for that match. It was being billed that way. Did you see the tweet that Randy Orton sent out? I think it was either yesterday or today. It might have been a tweet or he might have just said it in an interview. Said in the next 3 to 4 years, what he would love to have happen is
Cena?
Yeah, with the John Cena thing.
Yep.
Where he'd face John Cena at WrestleMania and it'd be one of them would win the WWE Championship for the 17th time.
And the other walks away.
Retire.
Yep, I saw that today.
That's like, man, that I would be actually fine with because John Cena is virtually retired now anyway, for the most part. So, and then I think he was...
I have to go back and see which glove he took from Bray.
Yeah.
You know?
And I know he said he had Ric Flair in there. I might have misread it, but I almost thought he was saying have Rick in John's corner instead of his corner. But
yeah, I believe he said he wanted Cena as the heel.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's
his corner.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. That's really wild.
I could see Cena being a face and Flair being a face in his corner with playing off the punt. Would they really play off that 3 to 4 years down the road? Because Vince isn't known for that long-term booking.
Right.
Now, speaking of Flairs, though, and the fact that Randy Orton punted a Flair, there is another Flair in the WWE who we've mentioned several times. He could get involved in performing this match.
Don't do it.
I'm going to do it because I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen rumors of it possibly happening. So, Charlotte Flair
could have talking about it, yeah.
I could see Charlotte trying to get involved too. So
there's your payback match: Charlotte versus Randy.
That very well could be. I mean, WWE doesn't do intergender matches, but I could see them potentially doing that with Charlotte.
It'll be a cinematic one.
I don't know. We'll see.
Fuckers.
But should be an interesting weekend anyways, having the Thunderdome that they'll be using for this.
Right.
I thought it played off pretty well tonight, and then I'm hoping they'll have a different look for SummerSlam than what they'll have for SmackDown and Raw.
I wouldn't have done it tonight. I wouldn't have started it tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I didn't know why they started it tonight instead of holding off and starting it at SummerSlam.
Trial, test and error.
Yeah, that's not it. But the only
reason I can think of.
The only thing that makes sense.
Right.
Now, I also did see Triple H had mentioned in an interview as well that there will be a draft at some point still this year as well. So that'll be interesting to see. I do believe there is talks that a couple guys might return now that they're in the Amway Center because there's more room for social distancing and all that stuff because they're not in the small PC anymore.
Right.
But I do feel with the COVID era that we've had a limited amount of superstars around, we do need that draft sooner rather than later to get things moving around again because some of it's getting a little repetitive and we need more.
Right. I was going to say Raw has maybe 15 people like on their roster, how it feels anyway.
Right.
Like it's a very repetitive cast.
Yeah, I was going to say, you see a lot of the same people throughout the entire 3 hours. So.
Which I actually do like, you know. But, yeah, I don't know. Who do you think's behind Retribution? And do you think what do you think Retribution does at SummerSlam?
Ooh, good question. Retribution will have a play in the show. I know they're saying there's going to be some surprises at SummerSlam. This whole weekend, there's supposed to be surprises.
Yeah, dog, you'll never see it coming.
Of course, that's their catchphrase for SummerSlam. Right. You'll never see it coming. Retribution will get involved in some way, shape, or form at SummerSlam. Will they be the cause of an end of a match? They could play a part in this whole next week pay-per-view as well. So, they haven't.
That's how Otis cashes in.
That could be. I mean, Retribution haven't really done a whole lot on Raw compared to what they've done on SmackDown.
Yep.
So I think they'll probably get more involved in a SmackDown match, like that Universal title match or any other SmackDown match.
Miz has been late to the party twice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I almost think that Miz is probably going to be revealed as the leader of it or a part of it, one or the other, because of what happened the last 2 weeks. I mean, the guys backstage when Morrison and Big E were supposed to have their match to start the show last week, comes out and claims he was on the phone with Maurice. And then this week, he's the last guy to come out of the locker room after everything's already done and over with, pretty much. So it seems shady. It seems like something Miz would probably do, honestly.
Yep.
So I'm thinking he's probably going to be the main person behind it. Who knows who's going to be revealed as actual members of it. They've got so many people that they have under those masks right now. It's not even funny.
Right. I don't think they have any concrete ideas on who's behind any of the masks the whole time. Right.
They're just using whomever they have available at this point, in my opinion. Could they possibly have at least one or two members that they'll actually have revealed under those masks right now? Yes, they could, possibly, but who knows?
The Miz-Taraj.
Miz-Taraj, but yet it'll be even better than the Miz-Taraj because it won't be Bo and Curtis Axel.
Did Axel get released?
He did.
Okay. Did Bo?
He has not. Surprisingly.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's a whole because he's a rotunda and
probably.
I think Mike's still one of their agents, so
I believe he is, yeah.
So that might be the only thing that saved him from getting cut. I don't know for sure. But it'll be interesting to see who the members will be. I know I've read rumors that Tommaso Ciampa and Dominic Dijakovic both could be revealed as members, but we'll see. And they said that Jessie Kamea, who was in the match against Dakota Kai this past week on NXT, was under the mask a time or two as well. And she was also the one that got attacked, the woman that got attacked in the crowd on the first SmackDown that the members of Retribution attacked. Right. So I'm interested in seeing where exactly it goes to, but I'm kind of uninterested in the lack of how much they've done, really, and how many people are thrown into the group.
Right.
Because when it started with 5, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then you can give me 5 people eventually, and it'll be a decent faction.
Right. No, there's 20.
Yeah. Now it's NWO.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll see how it gets booked.
Right.
With Bruce Pritchard involved, who knows? Although I have seen Vince is thinking of taking Bruce off of being the head of Raw again and putting Shane in charge.
Shane. Yeah. Welcome to 3-hour-long Raw Underground.
Yeah, sure. I don't think that'll happen, but
fuck it.
That'll be interesting.
Right.
Oh, wait. Do you think there's going to be any surprise returns or anything like that on SummerSlam?
Just the possibility of Tommaso Ciampa.
That would be about it.
Yeah, I don't think anything other than that is.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I would love to see Roman Reigns return, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime quite soon. But
Yeah, I don't think so. With him having an autoimmune disease, with his leukemia,
right,
he would be very wise to try and stay away as long as possible until everything's cleared up. And I'm not a Roman Reigns fan by any means,
I am.
but if WWE can't respect that, they're kind of fucked. Like,
Right.
that's a shitty situation. This man beat leukemia, has
Twice.
an autoimmune disease twice, yes, maybe even more. Who knows? But you gotta respect that this guy's looking out for himself and his family. I believe his wife just had twins right around Mania time.
Yeah, she did.
So
Their second set of twins.
their second set?
Uh-huh.
Holy fuck balls.
Yeah, he's got like 5 kids now. So
Damn, look out for the Reigns dynasty.
right. Those
But
Samoans,
yeah,
they know how to have twins, I guess.
I guess so. Holy shit. Something in the water out there.
Something.
Right. But alright, brother, I'm gonna hop off. It's
All right.
it's time
Hey.
for a taco and night.
Right. Give me somebody to talk to anyway, so I wasn't just talking to myself.
Yeah. Alright, I saw that you said you were gonna be on at 10, and I tuned in at 10, and it said 10 more minutes, and I was like, alright, I'll hop on, see what's up.
Sweet. I appreciate it.
It's been a while. Gotta get myself over, you know.
Okay.
Stay relevant.
Yep.
Alright.
Hey. See ya.
Take care, Tony.
Makes you too.
Peace.
See ya. So we'll stop that. And once again for H2 joining me. Anybody catches this later, I'll post these predictions as the shows go on. My predictions, at least, part of it. We're going to finish off with this. We'll catch you guys next time. I'll probably post my predictions, if I do a prediction show at all, over on my Anchor page for next weekend's pay-per-view. Oops. Otherwise, we'll see you next time, guys. SummerSlam. Gonna be good. Once